Welcome back, everyone, to Better Believe It. I'm Brigham Avery with my dear friends Geno Bisconte to the right and Sam Betesh to the left. I am the host of Hollywood Navi on Marquee Sports, the fill-in voice of Notre Dame baseball in 2006 when they had Jeff Samardzija, just so you know. Geno Bisconte to the right, my hero of comedy, super champion of New York podcasting and open for Jim Florentine, just a champ. Sam Betesh to the left, the longtime producer of Colin Cowherd, champion podcaster before that, producing in radio, Fox Sports. Both you guys, great to be here. Gentlemen, it's wonderful to be back on Better Believe It. The Dallas Cowboys making headwaves. Jerry Jones acting like a moron yet again. Are we surprised? Not really. Him calling out Micah Parsons, talking about how Micah missed 6 games last year when really it was 4. And he's talking about his salary. Last year, he called out the broadcasters on ESPN of his own team and said he was going to fire them. It's getting kind of sterling. Sam, I'd like to hear the sports perspective. Gino, what's the Cowboys over under on win? Why is this place such a mess, and why can't they fix it?
Brig, we have to speak to this first. Look, as the longtime Philadelphia guy here, and by the way, also the podcast Thinking Out Loud, Siciliano and Sam. Check us out at Thinking Out Loud as well, and on the YouTube page at Thinking Out Loud, Siciliano and Sam. We got a great podcast there at Apple Pods and Spotify. But Brig, in regards to Jerry Jones and what he said about Micah, 6 games missed when it was only 4. But even better, and I know Geno loves this part, the fact that J.J. Watt went out and had to point out that not only did he say that Micah missed more games than he did, he also said, and by the way, we paid our quarterback more money than anyone had ever paid a quarterback before, and he got injured also. So JJ goes out there and says, yeah, thanks for reminding and really encouraging the players to go out there and put their ass on the line for you when you're going to call out when they get injured. So that was just a devastating shot. We got to give credit. Micah showed up at training camp without the new deal. The Cowboys give more money to players that don't deserve it over the years. So I have no doubt Micah will get a contract. This is all going to be fine. Geno, I'd love just a Cowboy. This is such a chance to take a shot at the Cowboys. I've got a number in about 10 seconds I'm going to drop on everyone, but you give me a little bit and then we'll talk win total here because I can't imagine. They're so tantalizing every year. I can't wait to count up the wins for them.
This is what happens when you give an old man, like they don't let him drive cars, but unfortunately he still has access to his Twitter and the media, and he's so pissed at Dak Prescott, okay? Like, I'm sure at some point he said, the last time we gave that colored kid money, you gave all that. Did anyone in any of these boxes, let alone anyone in Dallas, when he gave all that money to Dak Prescott, not say, why did you just do that? He still thinks he's a GM. He's never been a good GM. The older he gets, the worse he becomes as a GM, and the more he doesn't realize that he's so bad at being a GM. And all this was him. This was a guy that's pissed for giving all this money, and we all knew it. And this is not me saying take Kyle Schwarber. We'll get that later. This is me stating the obvious. When they gave him all that money, did you not say why? And then he had one great game, and you're like, of course. And I like Dak Prescott. I have no problem with Dak Prescott. He says all the right things when he's at the podium, when he's not leaning, or sometimes he'll wheel himself up to the podium, and he'll be like, hold on, let me lean on this big pile of money. But So this is just Jerry Jones being like, and now you want money? And he knows he has to pay him. But in a moment of weakness or elderly senility, he's like, I'm going to take a dig at him. Why? Because I can, because I'm rich. But this is what you get for that. And
okay, so you take a license and you take a car away from somebody once they're a certain age. That's fine. I wouldn't even say take the team away from them. Take the microphone away from Jerry Jones and you'd actually be just fine. Really, Jerry Jones, I think, would be just fine. If you didn't hear what went into every decision, it might be okay. If you didn't have to hear him talk about the hemming and the hawing and what's happening in the arbitration about Micah Parsons, you might not care because every owner and GM is going through that conversation. How much can we actually pay for our best players? Eagles let 2 Super Bowl stars from that day walk in free agency. It happens all the time. But if we don't have to hear them have that conversation, we'll all be a lot more calm about it. Before we get to the win total, actually, you know what? I'm going to save it. Yes.
Why can't he let his kids why can't his kids shut his mouth for him, gentlemen? I want to get your thoughts on that, because his kids did some GM for him. They picked Chris Martin out of Notre Dame. They had some pretty good years with those offensive linemen. I don't know why, Geno and Sam, really quick, why they can't shut their father up and say, listen, Dad, just don't talk. We're your sons. We're running this with you. Why not, boys? What do you think? Please.
Geno, you can go first on this. I have a very, very easy answer, but I want to hear from Geno first on, and look, Stephen Jones has a prominent position, a seat at the table with that organization. But Geno, go for it.
Watch this. Let's role play. Brigham, I'll help you here. I'll help you. You be Stephen Jones and I'll be Jerry Jones. And you say to me, Dad, just whatever you want to say. Just go. Watch this.
Dad, listen, we think you've done a great job running the team. Some of the things you say are getting us in trouble. We just want this team. We want to win a Super Bowl, Dad. Can you please let us try? Please let us try, Dad. Just one chance.
That's a great idea. Now let me say 2 words to you that you've never given me the chance to say. You're fucking welcome.
Yeah.
You're fucking welcome for that job, for that gig. You're going to tell me what to do? Because all the shit I said while you were running around as an 8-year-old and I was banging cocktail waitresses 2-3 at a time.
Fredo.
Are you out of your mind?
Fredo.
Very difficult
Yes.
to say no to someone in that position. And again, unless that relationship of father-son has gone a certain way over the years, and you'd have to imagine, think about this, even when Stephen was really developing into the person that he is now, was really at the height of his dad's success. I mean, he witnessed his dad at his pinnacle. So it's going to be difficult to knock him off that pedestal. That's just simply the father-son relationship. You hit it, Geno. That's going to be hard. All right, let's get to what we're really here for, because the bottom line is this. The Cowboys, we can sit here and talk all day about where they will or won't be, and I don't think any of us here really think they're going to be in the Super Bowl. I like Geno. I'm also a Dak fan. He's got a winning record against the Eagles. I also buy the hype at times on Dak, but let's do what we're here to do. This is simply about whether the Cowboys, let's call it 7.5, because that's really what the number is at most books. We're here to help people use the Cowboys to their advantage. Usually what happens with the Cowboys is public money comes in and boosts this. I think this number will be higher by the time we get to week 1. See, I think what's going to happen is Micah Parsons is going to sign. You're going to get some videos out of camp of Pickens making great catches. And then Dak's going to look healthy, and someone's going to convince you that Javonte Williams is the next version of rookie Ezekiel Elliott. And we're going to start to buy into the fact that the NFC East champion has changed every season since 2004. And maybe, right? So all of a sudden, people are going to talk themselves into the Cowboys being right in that mix with Washington and Philly. And I think this is going to grow. I think this is your time to make a Cowboys bet. But Geno, you are better slightly than most people at doing this. And by the way, all you have to do is be slightly better than most people to be amazing at making money while doing sports betting, because it's fucking difficult. But Geno, 7.5 is where it is today. I think it's an opportunity to look at it at 7.5. Where do you see it? We'll look at the schedule eventually, but what do you see when we're throwing this number up?
Okay, right now, I don't think this number, if money comes in, I don't know that the number is going to come up, because you said it. Okay, well, they have Pickens. Pickens is a net negative, okay?
He's been a disaster.
He's a disaster. He's a terrible leader. Who's the other receiver? CD Lamb. And by the way,
he is such a prima. He's awful. They're awful.
It's not just that. But physically, he's so talented. It's ironic that his name is CD, because everyone he's surrounded with is a grade CD or lower. Dak Prescott has 3 good games in him all season, and the backup is Joe Milton III, who I can only imagine they couldn't. I can only imagine they couldn't find the first 2 Joe Milton, so they're like, just take the third one because we need a backup quarterback instead of Will Grier. This is a terrible team, and they're in the NFC East. Who, thank God, the Commanders aren't any. They're amazing, okay. And the Giants, if they lose one game, let me tell you, look at the schedule. If they lose that game week 3 to the Giants, it's over. Then you can start spending your money that I won you on the under week 4, because they are done.
Okay, this is amazing.
And I don't know that they can.
This is amazing. So Geno, we're going to say it right now. Geno's looking at this from an under perspective, under 7.5, which means we're just getting to 7, which means the number we want to count here is 10 losses. That'll be more fun for us to count the 10 losses here. I think that's what we should do. And this is just really simple to look at. Now, Geno, as I said, I think this number is going to close at 8.5. I really do. I think it's going to move to 8.5 because I think in this, look, now with 17 games, 8.5 is still not even a good season, right? 8 is not a good season. 8 and 9 is not going to get you anywhere. It's not a good season. It won't be good enough in Dallas, clearly. So we've got it. Well, we also have a brand new head coach, so that's worth looking at. I want to remind Cowboys fans of one thing, and I've never enjoyed saying something more as an Eagles fan. Every single team, follow me on this, every single team in the NFC has been to the NFC Championship game since the last time the Cowboys played in that game. So even though you're all wondering, wait a second, Sam, just do the math yourself. We're talking Carolina Panthers, Arizona Cardinals, New York Giants, Atlanta Falcons,
Chicago Bears,
the Bucks, of course, with Brady. I mean, just think about it. As much as you want to start counting the teams that haven't been there, and even for those of you that are saying, wait a second, Washington barely has a name. Yeah, they were in the NFC Championship game last season against the Eagles. And by the way, the Cowboys had to watch two teams from their fucking division play for the NFC Championship last season while they were licking their wounds doing nothing but watching the playoffs. So let's do this, Geno. I want you to go through, and all you have to do is find 10 losses.
Okay, watch this. Before I start, you didn't say the name of their new head coach. You didn't say it.
Well, you love this guy.
Marty Schottenheimer's
exactly.
son. Let me tell you something about Marty Schottenheimer, okay? He was the greatest regular season coach I'd ever seen.
14-2.
Yeah, do me a favor. Hey, Sammy, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Who did they fired him after he went 14-2, right?
Well, they had to. They lost the Patriots in the divisional round. They had the bye. Yeah, it was ugly. And then Norv Turner, the next season, Norv Turner went 8-8 to steal the division, and then they won a playoff game. They actually beat the Colts at home in that. And they won more playoff games with Norv than they did with Marty, for sure. But it was a shame. Marty Schottenheimer had incredible talent. And you're right, was unreal in the regular season.
And the thing about him, he was great in the first round of the playoffs, too. He beat the New York Jets in 1986 in a miracle comeback. He was great in the first and second round. Those AFC championships came and bit him in the
balls. But not on the Chargers. On the Chargers, he went reverse in the playoffs against the Jets. He got into they got overtime because I can't remember who. Not Bart Scott. Some guy friggin' hit Drew Brees in the face.
Yes.
And
that was a Herm Edwards. Yeah, that was a Herm Edwards Jets team that found that win. Yes. I remember that.
And then they get in overtime, and they just go. He ruined so many things. They get overtime, and it's just some guy can never remember his name, LaDainian fucking Tomlinson, and he just gives them dump pass, and then they get to the 40. This is how stupid he was. They get to the 40 on a rainy piece for some reason. Whenever this fucking Chargers made the playoffs, it rained in San Diego that week. And he gets to the 40, just marching upfield. Then they run it into the line 3 times. They bring out Nate Kading and ruin him. He was another guy, best kicker in the regular season. Postseason, he kids shank a lot. God, he went more sideways than your weekend plans at the strip club, Brig. So
unbelievable. So Brian Schottenheimer now has a chance.
Is that what we're talking about?
So Brian Schottenheimer has a chance to do something.
I got to stop you one more time to get back to the point. After he was fired at 14-2, who hired Marty Schottenheimer? Nobody. Never coached in the NFL again after going 14-2. Back to you, Sammy.
Let me ask you something. The question is,
the demons.
Does the apple fall far from the moron in this case if it's the coach?
No. Thank you, John. No. They're starting with -1 win because, again, like everything else, this was handed. He never did anything as offensive coordinator of the Jets. Let's go over all the Jets' great offensive accomplishments under him. You ready? Done.
All right.
And now they're Geno, like, take this job.
Betesh, sometimes Geno calls me John. You just
I heard that, and
yes,
and I loved it.
I always thought I thought it was John. I thought his name was John Briggs. Yes. Like when he stays at my house, like my buddy John Briggs. He's like,
couldn't believe that my first name was Brigham. Who wouldn't? Right? It's crazy.
We're officially going to change your handle on the next show, Briggs. John Briggs is a great one. All right, so let's do the oldest bit in the books. Let's do the oldest bit in the books. Going through this schedule, and all we need to do for the bet to cash for Geno, You got to find 10 losses here. And that's all you got to do. So go through them. Obviously, it starts Thursday against the champs. Eagles are going to be raising that banner. You look at it and tell us,
beat down. That is going to be a shit kick, national television style.
So however you want to do it, Geno. I'm looking at an 0-1 start here.
Here's the thing about, and I'm asking you both. Okay, the thing about the season now is the way they do it. No one plays their starters. Like the first 2 weeks, and your boy, I'll always give him props. Your boy Colin said this, and I agree. First 2 weeks of the regular season are like preseason now.
Yes.
So this is how bad I think Dallas is. I don't even think they steal one from the Eagles. I think I'll give them week 2 against the Giants.
Okay, I like it.
At home, I'll give them week 2. You know what? I'll even give them, I hate to say this because we're not big. I hate to do it, I'll give them week 3. I'll start them out at 2-1.
Now, stop what you're saying, Geno. I just want to remind everyone, if the Cowboys are 2-1 after week 3, they're going to be tied or in first place in that division. I don't think the Eagles or the Commanders are going to be 3-0. I think 2-1 is where this division is going to be at that point. Cowboys are going to be tied or in first place at 2-1. Now I want to watch this thing go on fire from here. Go for it, Geno.
Okay. Packers loss. I love what Jordan Love is becoming. We talked about this last week. He's not playing. He's playing with confidence on that knee. Jets.
That LaFleur coach is perfect. They worked so well together. That little shit. I hate him, but they got.
You listen to my buddy John Brigg. He knows this stuff. Now, I'm going to give them a loss to the Jets, and I guarantee you'll agree. Only because I gave them a win against the Giants, and they're going to split those two.
Okay.
So
I'm
since
fine
I
with
gave
that.
them the Giants win, Jets loss.
3-3. 3-3.
3-3. Oh, this looks like I don't know what I'm talking about. Panthers, you ready? I'll give them that win because your Panthers stink, Keanu. I'll give them that. Okay.
4-3. 4-3. I'm loving it.
Okay, now why don't you guys just sit on that 4 and get comfortable? Okay. Commanders lost. Broncos defense. Okay, Broncos defense. This is the game where Prescott probably, and I hope I'm wrong, tweaks something.
Sure,
doesn't finish that
could
game.
happen. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cardinals Monday night. Okay, this is about the time when Pickett has said something stupid.
Yeah, Pickens
CD
is
Lamb
definitely
saying
about
this is
yeah.
bullshit.
Pickens and CD are upset. Yep. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Cardinals lost. Monday night national spotlight. Team is reeling. And Schottenheimer's like, just don't fuck this up. And he does. Okay. Ready? Week 10? Bye. They lose that week. That's how bad Schottenheimer is.
4 and 5.
Somebody gets arrested that week, right?
4 and 5. Oh my God. 4 and 5 coming out of the bye.
The same massage parlor that Belichick went to, or no, that Kraft went to, they get Jerry Jones at. What do you think?
John Briggs. I love it. 4 and 5 coming out of the bye. 4 and 5 coming out of at the Raiders. I'd like to think there's something here. You'd like to.
There's something here. You ready for this? I'm gonna give this to Dallas.
Wow.
I'm telling you, Pete Carroll Monday night fucking is, and Geno Smith, who look, I love being wrong, and I was right about him for the longest time, but I was wrong about him. Like what Pete Carroll is doing with him, and if by week 11 they gelled, I'm telling you, the same thing. Raiders, Cardinals. The only reason I'll give the Raiders a win is because I gave them the Cardinals loss, and that's another split. That's another split.
So we're 5 and 5 here, Gino. So 5 and 5. This hasn't unraveled. If I'm holding that ticket over 7.5, I'm probably feeling okay. I'm probably feeling okay.
Do me a favor. Look at the rest of the schedule and never watch a game again. Eagles,
it's pretty bad.
Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders
Christmas.
On Christmas. Okay, and guess what? Week 18, you might get your 5th win.
Right. So look. So you're right. So
money away.
So if they are 5 and 5 after the Raider game, which is not impossible to get to, it really isn't. It could absolutely be that. If they're 5 and 5 at that point, it's going to be tough to cash based on who is ahead of them. You're absolutely right. Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders. Now look, there's a note on the bottom of the schedule here. It's the first team in NFL history with 6 straight games versus teams that won 11 games the previous year. I mean, that is positively brutal.
Yeah. Wow. That's a double whammy for a Schottenheimer. He's not going to handle that well. And I tell you, I think Thanksgiving Day is going to be a major major shit kicking. I think they play Detroit. Yeah, that's going to be. I think the Lions are going to eat the Cowboys, right?
Well, the Thanksgiving game is the Chiefs. No, the Thanksgiving game. So Brig, it's worse. It's worse. It's the Chiefs. The Thanksgiving game is the Chiefs. It's actually worse.
Ronald Reagan impression. Of course, they both play on Thanksgiving Day. No, the Chiefs are going to go in, and that will be a rain down bloodbath on Thanksgiving.
So there you go. So basically, Geno, look, you weren't outrageous with anything you said. You get sick. What you did say is 6-10, which is pretty clean. If I'm holding that under 7.5, I really didn't even sweat it at that point. So 6-10, 6-11. I apologize. What am I thinking with my old math? Yeah.
By the way, if you're not sure, Week 12 versus the Eagles, Week 13, it is Thanksgiving, but the Cowboys actually wrote that on the schedule. They go Eagles, Chiefs on 4 days rest, and they wrote thanks. You get to play the Chiefs on 4 days rest after playing the Eagles. Thanks.
Thanks. Right. Thanks. So there it is. All right. So that's that. I want to give Geno a moment here. All right. So the Cowboys found 6 wins. That was it. That's 11 losses. We needed to get to 10 losses. We got to 11. That's beautiful. And we gave them a win to finish the season. Even a nice cherry on top. They actually swept the Giants in your scenario, Geno. So that's not terrible. That's something to hang their hat on. 2-4 in the division is not going to get anything done, and they will not be representing anyone in the NFC Championship or in the NFC in the Super Bowl. So forget it. See you later, Dallas. Now, Brig. Geno's wearing a beautiful shirt, was drinking out of a beautiful mug. We like to find excuses to let Geno bring up. We've already talked. We haven't even officially discussed the Chargers. We've talked about them
right now, because I will tell you, Betesh, that 2004 draft of Benny Roth. I get to call him Benny Roth. Eli, the man, and Phillip Rivers. I tell you, it's like he had PG Tourette's. I loved how he would swear, say, doggone it. His career was just unbelievable. Coming out of North Carolina State, taking the NFL in 2004 on a trip for years. And I'll tell you something, maybe the greatest thing they never talk about was how good he was as an Indianapolis Colt for that 1 year. He manifested a lot. He did as well as I thought anybody could do in that situation coming in.
I love that you said that. Yeah.
I want to hear Geno's thoughts. It's like they never quite had it together. The house was never clean. There were injuries on defense, injuries on offense, obviously. That 2007 season going into the Patriots, who were undefeated, were losing to the Giants. That was a tough game he played. LaDainian Tomlinson on the sideline.
But not a tough game he played.
No, Geno,
he's a big boy. He knows what he did that game.
He knows what he did. He knows what he did.
But he knows what he did. It's like the Chargers, that team got seduced by the environment. They all stayed up partying too late. They were in Chula Vista. They were hanging out at SeaWorld, and they could never get it all together, unfortunately. But Phillip Rivers, undeniably, speak to his career and how does anybody ever match my betting question, Bisconte? Does anybody ever get close to his passing yard amount in that career as a Charger or as anybody?
And he knows what he did. He's a big boy.
First of all, he would have never got that if the Chargers front office weren't giant pieces of lying shit that treat their fans like idiots. Wow. Because Drew Brees, they got watch this. We'll tie it back into. I think we were talking beforehand with Jesus Christ. Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf is such a disaster that played one good year, and you talked about it. They, you know what they did? They had the number 1 pick, and they were going to take Vic, and they're like, "We're not doing that again. We're not taking a guy that just had one good season," and they traded him, and they got a guy named Drew Brees. Excuse me, LaDainian Tomlinson, Drew Brees. Drew Brees has a great year, and again, the father of the piece of shit that's coaching. It's not even his fault. That's coaching the Cowboys, Marty Schottenheimer. Drew Brees has a rough second year. Okay, so the third year, he starts playing a kid by the name of Doug Flutie, and he plays him the rest of the year. And rather than play Brees to see what he has, he wants to save his job. So he keeps Flutie in, and then they get to the draft. They don't know what they have. So they take a kid by the name of Eli Manning, who I have made my peace with, and I have no problem with him. And then they take Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers holds out because the owners of the Chargers are absolute pieces of shit, which is why Eli Manning's dad said don't go there, and why they wouldn't give Phillip Rivers money. And then they fucking said, all right, we'll start Drew Brees. Turns out Schottenheimer's an idiot. Drew Brees was really good, and Drew Brees does really well 1 year, the next year, and then Phillip Rivers, who likes to talk, says, I want to start. So there's all this controversy, and Schottenheimer, who loves a passing game back then, or maybe he's like, well, I like Rivers, and then it's the last game of the season, of a shit season against Denver, and there's a bad snap, a fumble, and Drew Brees, because he's so competitive, dives at the ball, destroys his shoulder, and the Chargers literally lie to us and say, well, we were going to keep Brees, but he's hurt, so we're going to keep Rivers, which is a lie, because if you were going to keep Breeze, you would have started Rivers to pad his numbers against a meaningless game against the Broncos and then market him. At any rate, they let Breeze go. You remember Breeze, the guy that held up a Super Bowl Lombardi trophy and pointed it at San Diego and said, "Suck my D." All right, so
and put the cans on his kid, right? Remember the baby with the headphones? He was the first to really do that. That was the picture on Sports Illustrated.
Yep. Down Betesh.
Yep, I remember that one well.
So all that said, once Phillip Rivers was a starter, I love him, but he was saddled with terrible coaching. Schottenheimer, we talked about. Norv Turner's a terrible head coach. He's a great offensive coordinator. I love him as an offensive coordinator. I do. But Rivers was such a gamer, and he played so well, and he had so many weapons. I loved he had Antonio Gates, that signed helmet. He had Malcolm Floyd, number 80. Yes. They called him M80. Vincent Jackson, who was an idiot and got arrested on the way to a playoff game.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Died.
Yes.
And he just put up incredible numbers, but I can never forgive him for playing in that game in 2008. The game after they beat the defending Super Bowl champion Colts with Billy Volek at quarterback and you know what I mean? And LaDainian Tomlinson. And they had two running backs by the name of Michael the Burner Turner, went to Atlanta, and he played for a lot of teams. I know he'll retire as a Charger because he had the best nickname there. Darren Sproles, K-State, the Lightning Bug.
Oh, God.
Great Eagle as well. Darren Sproles.
Great New Orleans Saint.
Yep, yes, for sure.
Everywhere he went, he was awesome.
So my point is, they get to that game against the Patriots, and Rivers plays on a torn ACL with Billy Volek. That you could call him a competitor. It was selfish. And what drove me nuts about back then, San Diego, the idiots, LT knew he couldn't play at a competitive level, took himself out of the game. And they had this picture. Remember, he had the dark mask. Like, that's just him pouting. He's not pouting. He's giving the ball to Turner and Sproles. And I'll never forget the one chance they had. I remember this play. This is how stupid Norv Turner is. They're going for it on fourth down. And in the backfield, they could put Turner or Sproles, and they put Michael Turner, who's about as mobile as that fucking dresser.
Yes.
And I can't remember who it was, the really good linebacker on the friggin' Patriots.
Eddie Bruschi.
Bruschi, wasn't it Bruschi? I think it was Bruschi.
He ran right at him. He
just his playhouse down.
If you have Sproles, what do? You take the snap, you send him out, you either you fake. But no, and that was it. And that was the double whammy of Rivers being too selfish to let Volek go. And look, I love him. He's a competitor. And he's
that was it. But that was it. That was really one of the last sniffs there, really. And now with Harbaugh, we got a chance. But two things that are really in the news this week, if you're looking up the Chargers. Number one, Phillip Rivers officially retired as a Charger. Very emotional video. Check it out. I mean, it wasn't. What was he going to retire as a fucking call? That's okay. Obviously, he was retiring as a Charger. But great video that the Chargers put out. Everyone, do yourself a favor and go watch that. It's fantastic. The other piece of news.
Doggone it. Watch it now. Doggone it.
The other amazing piece of news regarding the Chargers is this story that came out from Jordan Lewis, who was a former player under Harbaugh at Michigan. He tweeted out what their schedule was on a Wednesday on the football team. Harbaugh had every half hour accounted for from 6 a.m. through 11 p.m. committed to football. Every 30 minutes was an activity for football. Now, 4 of those hours were actual practice, but outside of that, between 6 a.m. and 11 p.m. was time committed for the football team. Now, say what you want. A lot of people are reading that as what a terrible person that Jim Harbaugh is. I will counter with they won a fucking national championship. I mean, Michigan, who could never, right? Michigan couldn't beat Ohio State. Michigan couldn't play in the biggest games. Michigan couldn't win a championship. Even when Harbaugh got there, Michigan couldn't beat Ohio State. And then in the most epic Michigan season we have ever seen, they destroy Michael Penix in the national championship game. They are absolute forever solidified, written down in history forever based on Michigan, based on what Harbaugh did. And yes, the Stallings thing is interesting. Watch that documentary if you want to find out what. It's still, I would say the definition of cheating is still a gray area with what happened there. I don't think that really, none of us should feign outrage about what happened there with Michigan.
The definition of cheating is if you get caught, in my opinion.
Exactly.
I don't care if it's the Astros. I don't care if it's and I don't think they caught Michigan. I don't. I think it's questionable stuff. Go on, Sammy.
It's plausible deniability. That's what it is. I'll tell you what, it's all plausible deniability.
And everybody is jealous of the champion. Everyone is jealous of the champion. And guess what? Harbaugh, you could say
you don't have to tell me, buddy.
That's
you
right.
Don't have to
and people would say that he left because of the allegations. I would say more likely the history of Harbaugh has been that he burns incredibly bright and hot and then people wear on him and he moves on. Did it at Stanford, did it in San Francisco, did it in Michigan. Now he's here with Geno's Chargers. So you've got Harbaugh heading into this second season. You got the beauty of Phillip Rivers crying about his amazing years with the Chargers. And now I say, let's do what we do best on this show. Is there a significant
heroin?
Exactly. You know? Is there a significant bet? That is amazing. Is there a significant bet? Can we win money on the Chargers this season? And Geno, how the hell do we do it?
You bet them to be the Chargers. No.
Well,
dude, you ready for this? This year, you win money by taking the over on the Chargers. And I'll say this. 2 years ago, I was the man that said, take the under on the Chargers. Brandon Staley's terrible. And everyone's like, no. Everyone this show I did. But you're taking the over on the Chargers. We talked about this. Although the one setback was, and this drives me nuts. Oh, actually, there's two setbacks because the Chargers can't help but be the Chargers. The one is I was all excited. Michael Williams, they re-signed him. You know what I mean? But and I said, now we don't have to deal with Quentin Johnson. He resigned.
Yes.
He resigned because you know why? You know why I think he resigned? Because his back is killing him from Brandon Staley playing him in that meaningless game. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that
go.
No,
it's funny. I actually meant to send that to you.
Not funny.
No, what was funny is that it was an hour after you said it. An hour after you said that the Quentin Johnston thing is solved because Mike Williams is back. He retires from the fucking league. It's if he heard. He's like, wait a second. No. He's looking at his friends. Geno said what? Geno said what? I'm not even this. I'm not even playing. What is he talking about? And that was the end of it right there. That ended the conversation about Mike Williams saving the entire season. So now we got Harbaugh into his second season. Chargers coming off a year in which they went to the playoffs and did exactly what Geno thought they would do in Houston in that wild card game. Holy shit. Who saw 4 interceptions coming? But wow.
But we talked about this. Those first two interceptions were not his fault.
No, they weren't. No, those were off of stone hands. Yeah, off of stone hands.
That's how the Chargers go. Sorry, Sammy. Go on, buddy.
That's all right. And now look, with 9.5, this is a regular season bet. So let's not talk about how it may end unless you wanted to take one of those other bets, winning the AFC or the Super Bowl, which I don't think we're not quite there. Although guess what? Harbaugh will have this team in this conversation before he leaves. I promise you, Jim Harbaugh will have this team in the conversation. This team will be in an AFC championship. How about that? The Chargers will be in an AFC championship in the next 3 seasons. That's how I see it. That's what he does everywhere he goes. But for this season, his second, we know that he is solidifying the run game. We love Amarian Hampton, who he drafted. But for this season, we all think the Chiefs are still going to be this version of the Chiefs that just kind of walks through this division again and again and again. But 9.5 means you're contending for that division. 10 wins means you are near winning that division. So I say we take a look at it. If you're talking about 10 wins, we just did 10 losses on the Cowboys. Can we find 10 wins here for these Chargers based on what we know they have offensively, some of the additions defensively as well, and Harbaugh now in a second season where he's probably gotten rid of everybody he hated in the building and really has put his stamp on what this organization will be.
By the way, I also want to point out they got a new running back today. You see that?
Yep.
Why'd they get a new running back? Because Najee Harris hurt his eye with fireworks on July 4th.
Oh my God.
After we told everybody not
JPP,
we did it. Yes, of course. Do I remember that? It's my favorite. It's maybe my favorite photo of all time. Yeah, exactly.
It can't be your favorite photo, Sam. That's disturbing. But I will tell you how Chargers is that And doesn't it seem as though, here's the thing, I think the Chargers' year is this year, because it seems as though Jim Harbaugh is ascending just the way he did at Stanford, just the way he did with the Niners. So I would look for them to be really, really kicking ass this year, Bisconte. I mean, I think 10 wins is easy.
I agree. And I'll tell you this, circle back in a sec, because one.
God, so are you making that up about the firework?
No,
I'm not. No. John Briggs.
But I just had to say that because I can't fucking believe my ears.
It's no. Brig. You would think every NFL player, there's never been a greater advertisement for being careful on the 4th of July than Jason Pierre-Paul turning his entire hand into a melted brownie and coming back and playing, which is remarkable enough. But wouldn't you think that there just wouldn't even be, I mean, more important than telling players not to drink and drive would be don't hold a fucking lit firecracker, right? I mean, just get out of the way of a firecracker.
Guns, boys, too. All NFL players have guns. They all go to rifle range. They love to shoot, which I think is do what the fuck you want, but they're just like, it's like they like to play Russian roulette. It's a recipe for disaster and chaos in the NFL. The offseason, it's like an episode of Miami Vice. I love looking for the headlines. Who got arrested? Who drove drunk? Who drove their Ferrari on whose lawn? It's amazing. So
really terrifying. All right, so Geno, let's do it. Let's do this, because when you play in this division, I mean, look, every team in the AFC West, when their schedule comes out, it looks more difficult than other teams, and here's why. Because for 8 seasons now, everyone looks at 2 losses automatically. If you play in the AFC West and you're not Kansas City, every other person that's putting your schedule together gives you 2 losses. At KC versus KC, everyone's got it down as 2 losses. I will say the Chargers have found ways to split with the Chiefs over the years, but I would say
the Chargers have found ways to lose to the Chiefs over the year. They have, because this is the thing that I will give Harbaugh, and I'm asking again, not telling. They have a different mentality, because they used to be, even when they go up against the Chiefs, like, yeah, but we can't beat them. They were waiting to lose. Okay. And they're not, they don't have that with Harbaugh. And I'm telling you right now, I'm taking I don't know if you paid attention to the Chiefs last year, and I know you did, but I wasn't surprised when they got blown up by the Eagles, because they got so many, and I don't care about the refs and what they say, and I think there's a lot of merit to that, because they're just so televised and you see it more. But they had so many lucky wins, they could have easily been a 10-win team. Okay, and I'm telling you right now, if they win week 1 in Brazil, you go back to your bookie and you take them to win the AFC West, because it's like preseason, it's a crapshoot, it's in Brazil. You know what I mean? So look, I'm gonna give them this Chiefs win, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm gonna give them a split.
I like it.
I'm gonna give them a split with the Chiefs. But I'm gonna give them this win, because I'm gonna tell you to take them to win the AFC West. I'm gonna give them the win over the Raiders on Monday Night Football, because lately they own the Raiders. I'm not impressed with Geno Smith. I love the Chargers defense. I love all these returning players. I do. The Broncos defense is really good. I'm going to give them a win here, but I'm going to give them a split on the Broncos. So whatever you want to do, because I
would say this. What you're saying makes a lot of sense when you go game by game. But are they going to be 3-0? And how interesting is that? 3 division games to start the season is pretty fascinating, right? I mean, that I got to go back in history. I should have known this coming in today. I can't remember the last time a team just played their division to start a season. Well, that's wild, isn't it? The league loves to stagger these games. The league loves to save these games for a little later. This is wild. I know it's the first time in 20 years that the Eagles and Cowboys are playing week 1. You know, it's rare that they do these so early out of the gate divisionally. For the Chargers to go Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos out of the gate. I mean, if they're 3-0 and 3-0 in the division out of the gate, Geno, I'll say this much. Maybe we should look at that AFC West ticket as well, because you're saying 9.5, but look, winning the AFC West is also something that could happen here. I mean,
that's what I'm saying after week 1. If they beat, and again, look, the fact is, a lot of people could be like, "Oh, you're just a Chargers fan," and I am, but I'm a pragmatic Chargers fan, and I'm not saying they're definitely going to be 3-0, but there's a reason neither of you are saying, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" It's very possible they could go 3-0.
The ebb and flow of the NFL is coming back that way. You know, it seems that way. It's like
Johnny Briggs.
Well, look, I like it for this reason, Geno, because I love what you're doing. This is very smart. When I look at schedules for teams, I don't go week by week. The first thing I do is I say, realistically, what is this team going to be in the division? At the end of the year, what's their divisional record going to be? And then I don't care. Like if you're watching and looking at the schedule, you just tell me where those losses are, but I think they're going to be 4-2 in the division. Like that's the smart thing to do, is to immediately identify where does your team stand in the division. You know that there's a team they could likely sweep. You know there's a team that could sweep them. Where do you see it? And so you're saying what? You think these Chargers are going to be what, 4-2 in the division? I feel that's where you're headed on this.
They're splitting. I'll give them a split with the Chiefs in Denver, and they're taking both against the Raiders. And and I'll say it. I'll do this flexibility. If they somehow split with the Raiders, they'll sweep the Broncos. They will.
Okay, 4-2. That's it.
They're 4-2 in the division.
I love that.
They are.
I love that.
What Geno is saying is Harbaugh matches up well against the division, is what he says. He matches up, but specifically his mindset. That's what
yes.
I'm not saying that, but I will now. I like that phrase.
Well, wait, and let's remind everybody.
I read your mind, Cleo.
Here's the other thing. I want to remind everybody this, because you know this well, and so do you, Brig. Remember what's beautiful about Pete Carroll coming back to the league, and specifically with the Raiders. Carroll and Harbaugh have such a gorgeous history. I mean, think about, you're talking Stanford and USC, and you're talking Seattle and San Francisco. I mean, they have such battles against each other. Carroll and Harbaugh. Remember that. And now you've got them in a division again, and the new look Raiders with Gentry drafted. Like, these are not your same old Raiders either. This is going to be fun to see Harbaugh and Carroll playing chess against each other again. I'm looking forward to that. So 4-2, I love it, Geno. Yeah, go from there. 4-2, and now we're at week 4.
Okay, so they take the Giants. Okay.
They're
taking the Giants, and if they're 4-0, I'll give it to the Commanders. I will.
Sure.
I love that team. I love watching them. They're a fun team. They're bringing it back. You know.
And again, Jaden Daniels now with Debo. Brig, you love the fact that now Snyder is no longer owning the team. I
love the fact that they went in and they beat Detroit at Detroit's home last year. That's a huge momentum. That is a huge organization. That's a huge confidence builder for Quinn and for the quarterback. So I think I would look for Washington to go to the Super Bowl, but I digress. Talk Chargers, please. I'm walking all over you.
No, you're great. The Dolphins stink.
Yeah,
I'm
so with you on that.
All this money.
There's 9 different owners, 9 different people in that team.
But when you pay all this money to your quarterback, who I'll say this, as you recall, like that was the draft when it got to 5 and Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Herbert were left. I didn't care who the Dolphins took, but I can honestly say I'm glad they took Tagovailoa, because he keeps getting his bell rung like a dong Vailoa.
He enjoys it.
Can I ask a serious question? To both of you? And it's not a yarmulke, but it is a guardian cap. So I want to understand this. Tua hands the ball off to one of the most talented running backs in the league. His name is Devon Achane. He wears a guardian cap in every game. So that guardian cap, right now, training camp is going to start. You're going to see all these players in that guardian cap. It sort of looks like they're wearing a beanbag on top of their helmet.
A mini umbrella.
It does, but what it really does is, there you go, Joe. Yeah. I love it. Geno's got his on. That's fantastic. Look at that. Wait, I got to show everybody. Get it on again. Give me the guardian cap. Yeah, Geno's got the guardian cap. So that guardian cap right there, which is a beauty, Geno. That is great.
It's the old purple helmet.
It is. There it is. Geno's wearing it the rest of the segment. All right, we're going to bring look.
Slap shot.
That is beautiful. So Geno's got the guardian cap on. The guardian cap is something that every player can wear during the game. They can take them from practice and wear them during the game. They do help in regards to preventing concussions. And Tua has been asked about wearing one and has said he's not interested. He doesn't want to wear them. There are players in the league that wear them. Yes. Does it look a little different than the other players? Okay, yes. You know what looks really different though is laying on the field with your hands frozen in position. And unfortunately Tua has been in that position more often than not. But again, the second biggest you could argue star on their team, Achane, who's sitting next to Tua every fucking snap, is wearing that to protect his head, and Tua is not. I find that irresponsible and reprehensible. I just don't understand. I can't imagine that there hasn't been a meeting with everybody, including Tua, to just say, hey, dude, look, whatever you want to do out there, we endorse, but you have to wear this cap. You have to wear this on you. Yeah. Just for all of us to not feel as liable for putting you in position to get hurt again, wear this. This isn't even brand new. We got to sell you on the idea that the league is using this. No. The league is using this. Your running back is using this, put it on.
And
put it on.
Sammy, at one point, wouldn't there be some kind of a medical lawsuit worry on the Dolphins' part with 3 concussions? I think at some point, maybe the NFL puts a barometer, a number when you get knocked out 5 or 6 times. As fun as it is, as exciting as it is, there's a barometer like, hey, you have to put this on. There should be, if there's a concussion protocol, there's an umbrella hat protocol. Where's the protocal for that?
Look, Geno, I think you're right. We all remember the NHL had a sort of a grandfather rule where if you had been in the league long enough and had not worn a helmet, you no longer were mandated to wear one. That was also the same thing with the shield, the face shield as well. Craig McTavish, I believe, was the last active player to wear no helmet during games. I can't even tell you. I mean, there was a bit of pride associated with that, but think about how stupid that is, right? I mean, you fall on the ice and split your head open. I mean, it's just that's that you had the opportunity to do something smarter, and the Dolphins do here. All right. Bottom line, we got away from it, Geno. That's a win against the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's a win.
It's a win. Guardian cap or not.
The reason he's not wearing it, I'm guessing, is because it fucks with you. It's on your head, and if you're wearing something like that, you feel it. And you just can't get used to it because all you're thinking about is why you're wearing it. So I'll allow for it. You know what I mean?
Look, there could be. You're right.
Maybe
There could be.
It's an inhibitor, is what you're saying. It's an inhibitor.
I hope it is. Otherwise, like you said, Sammy, he's an idiot not to wear it. He must have brain damage or something. He does.
That's horrible. All right, so we've got the Chargers are off to a scorching start here. You've got them losing to the Commanders, and that's it so far. So give us the rest of this. Take us through. Now we're at week 7 against the Colts.
Week 7, he's going to have trouble against the Colts and starting quarterback Daniel Jones because Anthony Richardson stinks.
I was gonna add a Richardson over under to who's gonna start there week 1. I think it's too obvious, but we will have the Anthony Richardson conversation as we get closer because there's gonna be stories coming out of camp where he looks amazing, and that's when we're gonna have the conversation to shut everybody up.
Yeah, he needs to start wearing a Guardian cap because every time he doesn't hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor, they should just take a little bat and hit him and that'd be like bad.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if you know this. It's like I heard it today. His like I don't know if you know this about the NFL, but they spend an entire offseason studying. You know, and that's why some of the best quarterbacks were guys just, I'll say it, boring white guys that just sat around like Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and Thomas Brady and Phillip Rivers and studied game tape and learned how to have a short memory, learned how to throw a terrible interception, walk back on the field and not even give it a second thought. Anthony Richardson misses screen passes. He has trouble with screen passes. They're going to beat the Colts, okay?
All right.
They're going to beat the Colts, all right? I'm going to tell you, they're going to beat the Vikings because I'm not sold on J.J. McCarthy. I'm hearing too many things about him. I'm not. And I know like this looks insane. I know I've got them at 7-1 going into week 9. I know that, but we'll see the second side. Same thing. Titans, who's their new quarterback?
Cam Ward. Yep.
Yeah.
And now there's almost no competition. Levis just had surgery now. So Will Levis, who I thought they had I loved the idea of Cam Ward starting and Will Levis the whole time waiting for a chance to get in there and I thought he would be an incredible back. I really thought Levis was going to be a great backup because who would be more motivated to play his ass off if he ever got a chance to get in there? And now Levis is done for the entire season. He's having surgery. So there's no Levis backing him up.
I mean, look at this schedule. The Titans, I don't even know their new head coach. Tell me for the 9th time. Or is it their second year coach? I forgot.
No, this is second year at Callahan. And he had, by the way, he was the one that was screaming at Levis last season. The guy with the auto
parts store?
Yes. Callahan, yeah.
Thanks for getting that, guys. It means a lot.
That's a great.
See how I make a dumb joke because you guys are listening to me and I don't even know the coach of this team.
Right.
That's amazing. But it's a great point. I don't think a lot of us. Again, we did which coach could win Coach of the Year and the odds on that. Callahan was on the 3rd page. He was ahead of Andy. He was there at plus 5,000 with Andy Reid, I believe. Crazy that Andy Reid was at plus 5,000. But you're absolutely right, Geno. 8-1. I mean, I'll say this much: if they're beating the Chiefs, that gives them an opportunity to go 8-1. You got them losing to the Commanders. And that's fine. And when you look at those teams, I mean, frankly, if you're just taking last year and looking at it, I mean, the Chargers had a better season than everyone there, but the Commanders, the Vikings, and the Chiefs. So, fine. So 8-1, and now so now we got the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, week 10. Aaron Rodgers game.
I will not give them that game, even though I think Aaron Rodgers is done. I think Aaron Rodgers is the, and we won't even get into it. God, I already forgot his name. Stephen Colbert. It's like Stephen. Everyone's like, well, Stephen Colbert's got 10 months to shit on. Everyone's going to. Then no one's going to want to give him funding. No one's going to want to advertise with him. Everything he says, they're going to be like, okay, lame duck. Same thing with Rodgers, but it's the Steelers, and there is an amount of respect I have to give Mike Tomlin that it's Sunday Night Football, and the Steelers always play well in Los Angeles. And I'm going to say this.
9-1, 9-1 heading into an at Jacksonville trip.
Okay. 9-2 because they lost to the Commanders.
You're right. 9-2 after that steal. Okay, right. 9-2. Sorry.
Let me say this about the people that like when the Steelers or they're like there's more Steelers fans, and then there will always be more opposing fans at a Charger game than there are Charger fans because and I'll tell you why. Let's go right down the schedule. You would leave the brutal winters of Kansas City, the shitty winters of New York, the humidity of Miami. I don't know what the hell goes on in it. You'd leave all of those, right, for the beautiful weather in LA. You would even sometimes say, hey, it sucks here in Pittsburgh. Why don't we take a vacation week 10, Sunday night? Okay. So I'll tell you, so there will always be more fans. I'll tell you what you would not do. You would not drive 3.5 hours south every Sunday to see in traffic and smog to see a team that abandoned you. Okay. play in their fucking boyfriend Rams stadium. Okay.
Yes.
You're better off doing go watch.
They're like Kato Caitlin at OJ's house.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's great.
Just go watch your ex-girlfriend fuck her new guy in a trailer because that's the equivalent.
Right.
Like my God.
Boogie nights, but you close the door.
They're gonna beat the Jags. We'll give them a loss to the Raiders. They're gonna lose to the Eagles. They're gonna lose to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay.
10-5.
Okay, and they're gonna take 2 out of the next 3. Cowboys.
It's great. All right. So look, 10.5. We got there over. So again, we like the Chargers over. Again, Chargers. It's a stiff bet. I mean, 9.5 is not easy. 9.5. I mean, getting to 10 wins is not easy on anyone's schedule. But I love it, Geno. We're under on the Cowboys. We're over on the Chargers. And now I really just want to get into something next.
Yes,
this is Brig. You love looking at these historic numbers.
Because of the hat, you see the hat on this is the Chicago Bears hat. They talk about our quarterback merry-go-round, which has gone around and round since the punky QB left Chicago. Oh. You know who's even worse? You know, all the hot chicks with the crimson lips say Cleveland rocks, except for the fact that we don't have a goddamn quarterback. Because it's 1999, Prince and the Revolution, they have gone through more quarterbacks than anyone else. And this year with Deion Jr., they have brought in a shitstorm of Jerry Springer party time to make this happen. But Joe Flacco is there now in Cleveland in the dog pound. Something about Joe Flacco. He wins. He's kind of like Kyle Schwarber under center. He just makes it happen like he did for the Ravens.
Blue hens, baby.
I think he gives Deion's son a run for his money, and I would not be surprised if Joe Flacco gets a start or two with his whole controversy. Gino, what's the over-under on Deion Jr. on Shador starting in Browns quarterback position coming into the 2025 season? What do you think, buddy?
This is why the Browns are, what's the word I'm looking for? The fucking Browns. The fucking Browns. Look at this list. Obviously, Flacco starting. Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett might be the best quarterback, may very well be the best quarterback on this sheet, and we just don't know. He was never given an offensive line in Pittsburgh. I'll tell you what he was given a year with the Eagles, that great fucking offense, that inverse of the Cleveland Browns well-run franchise. Okay, so This guy, like what you're looking at right now is Flacco should just be sitting there mentoring Kenny Pickett, okay, and Dylan Gabriel, and let them have at it. But you brought in Shador Sanders, who I'm sure is a wonderful kid. I'm sure you could teach a kid. I'm sure you could teach a kid a lot. When he gets out of his Rolls Royce, you hear that beep, beep, beep. He tosses the keys to his assistant, and he walks up and he goes, "What are we doing today?" We're running suicide. The fuck we are. and so you put him on the practice squad. Shador Sanders doesn't make the opening day lineup unless the Browns are just going to do what they do and be like, "No, this was a good pick." Who are they trying to fool? There are things as NFL fans that we've said this. They're like, it's got to be me. I must be stupid. There's no way. Like when they brought Tim Tebow into New York, I said they just did that to get. Like somebody said, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I learned. That's when I learned the back page phrase. I didn't know that. They're like, they brought him in for the back page. I'm like, what? They just want I'm like, yeah, there's no other reason. There's no other reason. And I'm like, but you say, because like, maybe I'm wrong. And then you watch week after week, like, nah, it's that obvious. It's that obvious. And there's no way Shedeur Sanders should be on the opening day lineup. I don't even know why you have him. Like you put him on the practice squad.
Yes, you do, Geno, because of his what's his last name? What is his last name?
Sanders. Did you hear the Shane Gillis
tickets?
Did you hear the Shane Gillis joke? The whole monologue was brilliant.
It was great. It was tremendously written, 10 minutes. Everyone do yourself a favor, and right after you watch our show, please type in Shane Gillis ESPYs. For those that haven't,
why that's a great statement, because of all the quiet pause, all the awkward pauses after the jokes. That's how you know it's good comedy nowadays. The awkward pauses. And Betesh, when you watch Geno do comedy, oh my God, it is that kind of awkward pause magic, Bisconte. Yes.
Shedeur Sanders, they retired his number in Colorado, and it wasn't nepotism. It wasn't because his dad was, I almost said Bernie Sanders, was Deion Sanders. It was because he went 13-12 and almost won the Alamo Bowl.
Yes,
it's unbelievable.
That's why. That's the barometer. Can I patent this T-shirt? Shedeur rhymes with manure. Can that be a team? I don't know if we can patent.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
God.
All right, so I want to clean this up a little just to let everybody know here. So, yes, Joe Flacco's at the top of this list. Geno's saying there's an obvious reason he's at the top of this list. The Pickett thing is interesting for a couple of reasons. Now, what you were saying about Pickett, Geno, this actually came, for those that don't know the comments, go look up really what Steelers legends think about Kenny Pickett. Because Terry Bradshaw always comes to the defense of Kenny Pickett and can't believe that they didn't stick with Pickett longer. And Bradshaw thinks that he got a raw deal, much like you just said. Bradshaw believed in Pickett and really thought that they did not surround him with any offensive pieces, not an offensive line, and thought he could have done something. The Eagles obviously thought so, brought him in. He didn't have to do much. He came into, frankly, he played pretty well in the game they lost to Washington once Jalen Hurts went out of it. And then the Eagles realized they had something in Tanner McKee, their backup. And obviously Pickett was expendable at that point. Howie loves collecting draft picks. That's how that happened. And he's now in Cleveland. You're right. Kenny might be worth throwing some money at here. And here's the other thing to keep in mind. I would say don't make a Cleveland Browns starting quarterback bet yet. And here's why. As teams go through camp, and injuries happen. Forget about injuries to the Browns as they happen to other teams. The Browns quarterback room is going to be plucked from. There will be a team that feels like they have a shot, a real chance at winning their division or making the playoffs this season, and they will turn to this. Flacco or Pickett could be picked off by another team because at that point in training camp, that team will be feeling good and they feel like they're just a Flacco or Pickett away from keeping it calm. And the Browns will know that they either have something or they do not in Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. And they'll be willing to part to collect pieces for seasons in the future for that. So I think this room will look different. I think making a bet now on this would be short-sighted because you may choose a name that might not even be a Brown in 2 weeks. I'm going to tell you, I agree with everything you say, except holding off on a bet. We're giving away money. If someone comes a knocking on Cleveland's door, okay, there's one quarterback they're going to ask for. Who is it?
Yes. Joe.
No, it's Pickett. And
it's
Pickett. And I'll tell you, the reason they're asking for Pickett is because they're respecting the Browns enough to know there's no way you give away Dylan Gabriel, especially when he can sit there and be mentored by Joe Flacco. So I'm saying you put $5 bills on Flacco, you're making you're making that money back.
I like it.
You're making that money back.
Joe Flacco's such a sexy pick that people are going to be after him. The phone will ring at his agent's office very much.
He's a classy guy. He's a classy guy. He's not going to do one of these knockwood. Remember Mike Williams, but I'm going to say it. No. He's not going to do one of these last minute. I changed my mind. He's a gamer. He loves the game. He's smart.
Have you ever been to the campus that he went to school at, Geno? I don't think you visited the campus of Flacco. Have you ever visited? visit the campus?
I graduated from the University of Delaware. You know
Yes,
that,
Delaware.
right? You know that was a trivia question for the long.
No,
you know
what?
that was a trivia question for the longest time. Let me see if I can get it right. And it changed a little bit, but can you name the last two starting quarterbacks in the AFC for the Super Bowl that were not named Manning, Brady, or Mahomes?
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. So yeah. So it's obviously Flacco, but okay. So wait. Let's go through this. Well, Ben, you said, right? Did you say?
Oh,
Ben? Ben was on it. Ben's on the list, right? Yeah.
I added Mahomes, and there might even be someone else mixed in. But up until 3 years ago,
it was Manning, Roethlisberger, and Brady. You're right. And it was Flacco was the other one who was in there. Yes.
It was right. No, and no, it goes all the way back. Flacco and who else? You ready?
Wait for this. Not Manning and not Brady in the Super Bowl. Wait, this is
a good. John Elway. Go back to John Elway.
Because that's too far back. That's too far back.
You're just going too far, John Briggs.
You're going way too far. Yeah. Not Peyton, not Brady.
No. Not Peyton. The Ravens quarterback in 2000. The Ravens quarterback.
Well, no, that's back to you're going to Dilfer now. No. Nope. You're going too far back. Before that. No. It was not. I mean, McNair also is too far back as well. So it's past that. How are we? I mean, this is now almost embarrassing. I feel terrible. Wait a second. This is going to be from 2000. Was it 11? It was because that was Rodgers and Roethlisberger in that one, and then you had obviously. And Peyton with Denver because he did start that, even though Osweiler played in plenty of those games.
Oh God, he was so terrible. He was,
but again in Denver because again it was Manning again in Denver, so that was a great one.
I'll give you a hint.
I'm truly embarrassed that it's not Gannon. It's not going back to that.
It is Gannon.
It's Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon. Okay, so it's Gannon.
Who went to what school? Who went to what school?
Delaware, baby.
Fucking quarterback factory, mother.
Unbelievable. Gannon was the MVP that season. Gannon was the NFL MVP that season.
And you know where he started? He was a third string quarterback in Minnesota behind Tommy Kramer and Wade Wilson.
Unbelievable.
The fourth stringer was Sean Salisbury. But you know where I heard that, Geno? John fucking Gruden said he went to Delaware. I fucking like it. He's a fucking badass.
That's a great one, Gino. You took us on a journey there. All right, so okay. So now we've got our quarterback in Cleveland, and now I want to go down that path. Now, Brigham, you love numbers that are long odds. You love stories like that. I mean, frankly, I don't know how you're you were a Cubs fan, and I mean, so obviously the suffering.
108 years. That's a lot of numbers, Betesh.
It's a long time to wait for a championship, but like I like to remind people, winning a championship takes a lot of shit going your way. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes wrong. Ask Geno, you're 14-2, and you feel like the Super Bowl's right there, and then the season just ends. I mean, so a lot has to come into play, but there have been some awesome teams in the Super Bowl that have been wild long shots. I'm not talking about winning the Super Bowl necessarily. I'm talking about just making it to the Super Bowl.
3 of them are Giants, Sammy. You got the 2000 Giants, 2007 Giants. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's amazing that one team. Yes.
In the last 25 years, you're right. You hit 3 of them.
Right.
And 2 of those won the Super Bowl. Obviously, in 2000, the Giants lost to the Ravens. But 3 of those Giants teams that nobody saw coming into the. I mean, I remember when the Giants blew out Minnesota in that NFC Championship in 2000. I think it was 41-0. 41-0, I believe, was the story of that. Which is, I mean, think about it, for an NFC Championship. So
Gary Collins has never been better.
3 were Giants, and remember, just a few years back, 2021, the Bengals with Burrow were long shots to be in the Super Bowl against the Rams that season. The Rams were a pretty good number because they'd just gotten Stafford. They had Aaron Donald, obviously, but if we look at this now, Brig, if we make a significant, if we want to take $100 on a team not winning the Super Bowl, I want to look at this from a perspective of making the Super. Is there money to be made for a team that could, again, like Washington last? Think about it. Washington's a win away from going. Who would have had Washington with a rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl last season? And you would have been holding that ticket on that NFC Championship Sunday, feeling like there was a chance. And I guarantee you that would have been $1,000 in your hand. If minimum. I bet Washington was even a longer shot than that. I would love to go through, because right now is the chance to throw some money at something wild if you think there is a chance at all. And Brig, you remember, look, Caleb Haney almost got the Bears into that Super Bowl. I mean, there's been
2010, yes.
There's been some teams in the Super Bowl. I mean, when Arizona played Pittsburgh for that Super Bowl, yes, it was Kurt Warner, but nobody saw that coming either. There have been some wild teams in the Super Bowl, not necessarily winning it, but just in it, is there anything now which feels like it could be a team out of the let's go, maybe we'll go NFC first. Is there something that could make us more than $500 if we put 100 on it that would actually be worth the investment, that we could really close our eyes and picture this team representing the NFC in the Super Bowl? Geno, is there anything there? And Brig, do you have just like a magic sprinkle on anybody either?
If I'm saying this correctly, I would say the Washington Commanders. Is that correct?
They're not really a long shot, though, are they?
No,
look, you'd win good money. But I think you're right. Any team that's in the NFC Championship the year before feels like an obvious choice to sort of pass that hump for the next season, perhaps. But I'd love to know, is there a smart, and again, you're basically setting $100 on fire anytime you do something like this, but is there any how do I protect how do I turn that 100? And now that we've, as your friends like to tell you, now that we've made money on the under for the Cowboys, we've made money on the over on the Chargers, right? We've made money on Flacco starting for the Browns, right? We're sitting on all this cash, but what can we put $100 on to really turn a nice profit for the NFC to be represented in the Super Bowl? Now, look, and this page, this goes on. This goes beyond page 1. If you want to get crazy, there's page 2 here. We've talked about, you've got the under on the Cowboys, so they won't be there, but there's some fun names on here.
I'm just going to say that I would say the Bears because I'm biased, and I think the coach. I like the coach. I think that there could be a lot of money. I think it could be a sexy thing. I like them and the Commanders, but it's the NFL is so, God, it's hard to pick them because every year is so different. But I would
watch this. No, like the Vikings. No, I'm not sold on JJ McCarthy. A lot of people I'm going to root for him. He's a good kid.
Sure,
but already when he gets hurt in training camp, and they're like, all right, we're just going to rest him up so he comes back full strength. Does he? And this is the guy you got, So not sold on that. The Commanders, $900. Come on, let's make some money. Go to the next page.
I love this. Oh, I love it. A page 2 NFC Championship is fascinating to me. Now, I think there's a way. I do think there's one of these teams that it wouldn't be shocking to me. It wouldn't be stunning if they were. Look, even to say one of these teams would make the playoffs.
Quarterback get? Does he make a big jump this year?
First of all, let's admit to everybody that there's not a team on this page. There's not a team on this page that was in the playoffs last season. So just admit, this is going to feel wild if this team makes it to the NFC Championship and then wins it. But go for it.
That team. That team is. Say it with me. The Falcons. The Falcons.
Yes.
Sammy.
Yes.
That's where you put your money.
Yes.
You got Panix who. I love the kid. I'm not saying he's good. Just saying he's fun to root for. You got Bijan Robinson. Okay, who they're expecting huge things. He had a great. I wasn't impressed. I shouldn't say they're blowing way too much. Like the last 3 games, he averaged all this stuff. He played the Panthers. He played the Commanders in a shootout. Played some other awful team, but I love the new head coach. Well, the second-year head coach. There's a lot to be said about that. And this is a fun team. And if Panix plays the way it's a simple thing. You'll know by week 6 or 7 whether you should be worried about this ticket or not, because he's either going to pick up where he left off in college or he's going to get some hard knocks going. But he sat for a year. He got to watch Kirk Cousins and just went like, so don't do that. So don't do that. Make sure I don't do that. That was pretty stupid. And the Falcons are the team in the NFC.
There's nothing.
Bisconte just has this ability, Sammy. It's like he sees the things stick out on him. It's just because you did that with Bobby Witt, you did that with Schwarber, the Indianapolis Colts. And this again, I cannot deny Bisconte just because it's their time to rise again after that 2018 horrible loss.
28-3. 28-3.
If they're to crawl back and kind of be the balance. What you'd get, Bisconte, is you find the balance in the picks and everything. I think that's your essence.
Raheem Morris, this would be epic. And I got to tell both of you, there's nothing like making a bet like this and just already dreaming about the $3,000, right? You put $100 here and then you start to think, you go, wait a second, I can actually tell my wife about this. We just made $3,000. Like a $100 investment. I just made because you can dream. Think about it. You've got 15 weeks that this essentially could still be alive, right? For 15 weeks, they'll be in the conversation. They'll be like in the division conversation. Like this is all. That's what's gorgeous about it.
I have to send you the clip because this is how dumb gamblers talk. And I don't mean dumb like we know we're dumb. We don't make me and my buddies, we were bored. It's late. We're watching a WNBA game, and he did a parlay that I forget who the aces would win, and this chick would have 19 points or whatever. And sure enough, we're like, well, she's got 18 points, right?
Oh my God.
And it's the WNBA. It's like 18 points, and I'm like, and there's 5 seconds left, and they throw the ball out of bounds. I'm like, here's what's got to happen. They got to inbound it to her, and they got to foul her immediately. And they do. So I don't care if it's Wilt Chamberlain, Terry Bradshaw, or what, Asia Davis. We're watching it, and sure enough, they put her on the foul line. And Larry, I'll send you the clip. They put her on the foul line, and they're like, and they show the stat. She's one of the top 3 free throw shooters in the WNBA. What does the first shot do? It builds half a wing of a hospital. It's such a brick. That's
hysterical. That is hysterical.
Sure enough, she hits the second one to hit 19 points. He covers his bet, but that's the same logic as, I'm just going to make 3,500 before the season even starts. It's the same thing. It
just always turns out the wrong way, right? I mean, just like if you're holding the ticket, it seems that it just like there's nothing that can actually go your way. But I love the idea of holding that ticket. All right, so NFC, we're looking at the Falcons as a long shot here, which is gorgeous. Now, in the AFC, is there something that we could get excited about as well? Now, you're probably not going to spend 100 on each of these, but you can decide where Geno's ready to make some cash. The Falcons, I do like the Falcons because that division feels the most wide open. So that's a good path. Is there something here that could make some serious money?
It's also worth with Raheem Morris, it's another thing, like these guys, when they come back as a coach their second year, like the second time around, you look at these guys like Belichick, Carroll, and you root for that. So that's another reason.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that, Geno.
Page. Don't waste your money.
Okay, let's go. Let's get there. Let's take real. Here we go. A page 2. Okay. AFC champion here. Who could win the conference? Can we close our eyes and picture any of these? The funny thing is, the one I want to say, we're just too down on the quarterback. But I want to hear from you first. I mean, Indy's the one that I want to say. Like I could picture it, but I mean, how could that be?
Here, I'm going to say it. If we talk about the second time around, the Indy is the team I'm taking.
Wow.
Because if Richardson's not going to last. He's not. No, and and Daniel Jones takes over. You got Jonathan and Daniel Jones is a pretty good running back too, but unlike Anthony Richardson, he knows when to run. He knows when not to run. He got that money. Being the running back alongside, I can never remember his name. Actually, they're trying to forget it. They have therapists going to Giants fans. Saquon Barkley. You put him with Jonathan Taylor, and suddenly your receivers get so much better. And I'm not saying this is going to happen because I'm definitely recommending if you're only taking one, take Atlanta. But that's the team I'm taking. That's the team I'm putting a hundo on.
I just want everyone. I really want everyone that's watching this to please remember, if Daniel Jones is in the Super Bowl, I just at least come back and give Geno credit for that. I mean, I don't know that I just don't know. And yeah, we put Geno in a bind and made him, choose one of these ridiculous picks. But just can we please say that if Daniel Jones is into the Super Bowl, that there's not going to be a long list of people who said that out loud. There's just not going to be. There's just
one person, Sammy, one person.
Because anybody that has the Colts doing this must be thinking that Anthony Richardson will finally turn into Lamar Jackson the way that we thought he would, right? Like that. We all thought Anthony Richardson would be either Ben Roethlisberger or Lamar Jackson or something in between, and he's been so far from that at this point. But if it happens, and if it also happens on the back of Daniel Jones, Geno, we're making a statue. We're making a statue of you and Daniel Jones outside of that stadium at Lucas Oil. That's it.
There's a chance of it because you said it perfectly. Everyone thinks he's going to be Lamar Jackson. And the one person that has to stop thinking that, Anthony Richardson. Yes. Anthony Richardson has to stop thinking, and I'm going to defend him. I need to be Lamar Jackson. Kid,
nope.
You need to shut your ears and be yourself, and you're trying too hard.
I love this. I love this. All right. All right, so you got Colts. I do the new look Raiders are fascinating to me. I think I might have sniffed at that if I think Genty is the offensive rookie of the year. If we believe the Pete Carroll hype, like maybe, but I love it. Let's stick with the Colts. And now Briggs set us up. I know we wanted to talk just a sprinkle of NBA here because just a sprinkle, just a touch.
Paul is back with the Clippers again. Oh my God, and I can't. People are jumping for joy outside the Intuit Center. They're happy as hell in Clipperland because CP3 is back again. And oh boy, buckle up. I will tell you something. It's like coming Jordan as a freaking Washington Wizard is what comes to my mind when I hear that. Sammy wants you, Geno, to pick the Western Conference champion in 2025-26. Oklahoma City, Minnesota. It's early for that. It's interesting because CP3 is back, but it's Oklahoma City's to lose. I think Minnesota's good, but CP3, what can he contribute at this point? Nothing really.
No lob city, Brig. No lob city for you. No lob city vibes. Is CP3 back here?
The sun is set on that, Betesh, for God's sake. So him coming back is interesting. I loved him in 2015 as a Clipper, but now not really. I think it's Oklahoma City's to win in the West. Geno, what the hell do you think?
There's a lot to be said about rage and vindictiveness. And the last time Paul the last time Paul wound up on the Clippers, it was because remember they vetoed the trade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck. It's like, what the fuck? I can't go to then I'm just gonna.
No, you can go. Yeah, don't worry. Chris, we got good news. We got bad news. You're not going to the Lakers, but you're going to LA. Wait, what?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Huh? Right. You're not going to Disneyland. You're going to Knott's Berry Farm, buddy. Buckle up.
And then, so he's sitting there playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's got Blake Griffin, and then Blake suddenly starts to get a little. I don't know what happened to him.
Car commercial crazy. He went car commercial. He
wanted to do stand up. Whatever, but now he's back and he's like, it's like an Aaron Rodgers thing. And I don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with Aaron Rodgers. I don't have a problem with Chris Paul, but he's just like, all right, can I just walk off into the sunset? I don't think it's a you know what it is? It's a farewell lap, and he's earned it. Like, he's great for the game. He's a great player, but he's not doing anything, you know. And the Lakers, LeBron went from being the face of the league to just a pain in the ass, a distraction. He's a distraction to the league. He really is. Like, I heard, like, it's not even his team in LA anymore. There's no reason not to take the Thunder. There's no reason, okay? And plus, if you're betting this early on the NBA,
you got a problem.
You got a problem. You should be putting all your money on Doug Jones. What are you doing on Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones and the Colts. I love it. All right, so we're saying favorite here in the Western Conference. I sort of like the idea of believing that Luka, LeBron, and Ayton, that they're just that LeBron and Luka are so pissed they won one playoff game this past season together. Minnesota wiped the floor with them. Is there a last gasp there? And could it be the Lakers?
You sound like Vince Vaughn and at the beginning of Swingers when they show up at this is truly old school. When they see all the women at the casino.
Oh no! When they get Vegas, baby, Vegas, yeah.
Old school, truly old school, truly old school.
That's good. They'll respect us. A couple old school guys.
It's a tired old song, Betesh. I'm sorry. It is.
I love it. All right, so that's it. Okay, all right. OKC. Well, look, last week at this time, right around this time, what were we doing last week, Brig? We were getting ready for the All-Star game, right?
All-Star game. And Geno, I mean, I just want to talk about this guy. Betesh, I love how you're setting me up for these because I'm back in the swing technically wise. And I'll tell you what, it's technically even a word. Here's the deal. Kyle Schwarber comes through in a big way. Geno, you called it amazingly. I was thinking it, but you called it. You took my words out of my mouth. Spoke it because I'll tell you what, Kyle Schwarber is just what we were talking about in Swingers. He is fucking money. He was money with the 2015 Cubs. He's been money in the postseason for the Phillies. Their bullpen's been a disaster. Kyle Schwarber's been there. And for him to win the first swing off, which sounds like it was created by Austin Powers, baby, in the freaking home run derby, I'll tell you what, that's the guy to do it. The Phillies are talking about paying him. I think that's the most obvious thing ever. Yeah, you should give the man what the fuck he wants and then some.
Yeah.
Remember that? Fuck you, pay me. Fuck. It's like I did this for the Cubs. Fuck you, pay me. I want I got us the World Series. Fuck you, pay him. Right?
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be a problem. And it's not
even a headline. You should just pay this fucking guy.
I'll say two things about why gambling is great. First of all, I'm watching it. I'm like, does this count? Does this count? And my phone rings and it's Sam. He's like, this fucking counts, right? Does this fucking count? I'm like, I think it fucking counts. This should fucking count, you know?
It's so great. I just want to remind everyone. So it was an hour before the All-Star game, and we're thinking, all right, we want I want to set Geno up here. I mean, what's a good bet? I mean, MVP is a fun thing to go, but really, these guys have 2 at-bats max. Is there an anytime home run that's worth it? I'm looking at the obvious at Judge. Shohei hit one last season, and Geno went right. I mean, it was so perfect. Geno just looked at the list real quick and just casually threw it out there. And he's like, Schwarber's the guy that rises to the moment. Schwarber's the guy that's designed to hit home run in this kind of a scenario. Schwarber, anytime home run in the All-Star game. Beautiful. Look at it. It was plus 750. And when he won that swing off, I called Geno immediately and I said, anytime home run. Yeah, he hit it anytime.
You're like, it's anytime.
He hit it at the most important time, and he hit fucking 3 of them. With 3 swings, 3 home runs. I don't think, there's never been. Think about what had to happen at that point. Yeah. They're up 6-0. It's 6-0. The chances that there would be a swing off was so unpredictable. Nobody even knew the rule at that point. It had been in place since 2022. And then it comes through. Geno's anytime home run happens once, twice, and 3 times. If you haven't collected that money from your book yet, please write them a letter. Anytime home run during the game means any fucking time, and that was the most important time.
And I will say this: I watch a little show called the Thinking Out Loud podcast, and they had a great point. They had a great point. First of all, if you're a Phillies fan, and we are, they fucked over fucking Alonso. But 2 people fucked over Alonso. Okay, 2 people did. One. Fucking his own fucking teammate Diaz couldn't get out. A guy with a banjo, 2 down, slapping it to the left side of the infield.
Quan. Oh my God.
Alonso gets it. Quan. And secondly, Aranda. Who was the guy?
Aranda. No, Aranda. Who, by the way, the brick behind you. I do want to say, Geno, Aranda hit the brick behind you on a line on that swing. I mean, he dented the fucking wall. It's a foot away from tying that game, but it didn't happen.
And if he gets that one over, I think you or your boy said it. Alonso walks up, he's gonna hit a home run. And it is lock. It is a mortal lock. He gets the MVP. It's a mortal lock. He gets it. But instead, to quote it, if I may, a guy that went 0 for 2 and didn't play the field got the MVP. And it's the Phillies, motherfucker. He took it from the Mets.
He took it from the Mets.
Go, Sammy. It is such a great
it's so interesting. That's what he's done his whole career is come up clutch.
It was glorious. And for those that don't think he should have won the MVP, can I just say to everybody, shut the fuck up. It's an exhibition. Tell me what people are going to remember 50 years from now about the 2025 All-Star game. They're going to remember that Kyle Schwarber hit 3 home runs in 3 swings and won the MVP on a home run derby inside the game. No one's even going to remember that Cal Raleigh won the home run derby. People are going to say Schwarber won the home run derby because the home run derby that mattered at least a little bit, Schwarber stole the fucking show. He deserved that MVP. There's not a moment in that game that mattered. No one's going to remember Quan dribbling the ball the other way to tie it up. It's going to be Pete Alonso. You're right. Pete Alonso is going to say that was my MVP. That's my fucking MVP. Good luck, Alonso. See you later. And even Alonso will admit that he loved that moment for the National League at that time. That Schwarber comes up and
every time I hear him
Polar Bear for sure. Dude. You're right. But that was a glorious fucking moment. All right, Brig, let's go back.
One more thing, if I may, one more thing. Very important. One more thing. The very first pitch Schwarber saw against the Angels after the All-Star break, he hit a home run. He hit 4 home runs on 4 straight pitches.
He's down.
Had to be said. I love him. I love him. Who'd he play for, Brig? Not important, buddy.
Not important.
Interesting to note, the home run derby has in a lot of ways become kind of like the slam dunk contest in the late 80s when Dominique and Michael decided they didn't want to participate anymore. I would love to see Shohei and Judge in this some way, somehow, but you know what? This year we didn't need it. It was all about Schwarber. He made that happen. That's why this is so perfect. It's been an amazing show tonight, you guys.
Oh my God, it has. Brig, we got it. We got to remind everybody. We got to remind everybody all the money that they're about to make, though.
Yes.
We got to recap all of these. We got to. We'll go back in time real quick. We got it. We absolutely want to go back. All right. So look, the bottom line is look. If you were really laying cash with us last week, you made money. I mean, I just want to remind. It's not easy to do this. All right. It's just not. We don't have an 800 number yet. Okay. We don't. But Geno said. And this was not an easy. I mean, think about this. This is a lot of names on this list that you could have gone with. And like I said, I was throwing out Judge and Ohtani. It felt right. Even how about the home run derby champ Cal Raleigh, right? Geno looked at this, spotted Schwarber, and made you. I mean, think about that. You put $100, you made $750. I mean, that's a nice bet to make. So I just want to remind you that there is an opportunity if you listen here. If you fight through all of me and Brig fucking it up. If you listen to Geno here, you could make a little bit of money. He sounds like he's crazy. He's got his fucking Guardian cap on. The guy is insane, but he's hilarious. But he also has been doing this long enough that he does understand what can be done. So I just want to go back and remind everybody, Chris Paul may be a Clipper, and that's hysterical. Okay, that's fine. But I just want to let everybody know that Geno thinks here, if you're gonna make a ridiculous NBA bet right now,
why wouldn't
representing, making it back to the NBA Finals, OKC Thunder. So winning the Western Conference. So we're gonna say OKC to win Western Conference, and I'm throwing all of these in the comments, everybody. All right, so you can go back and recap and get it really simple. All right,
and that
OKC
was his first bet, that Schwarber one. He's batting 1,000. That was your main bet, Bisconte.
Yes, OKC to win the Western Conference is what you want to lay some money on right now, and we're going to go back now. Long shot AFC, long shot to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I love this one. I love this. I love this long shot. Long shot. The Colts, Indy to win the AFC is a gorgeous bet right now. I mean, just imagine that money. 4,500 is just that is spectacular. So that's great.
You, and remember, Daniel Jones wound up. He got signed by the Vikes. Like people think.
Yes.
Like look at God forgive me, Baker Mayfield. I was wrong about him. I mean, I wasn't wrong. You knew he'd stink in Cleveland. He was under a microscope. He was thrown in, but you're around that shit long enough, and you get out of it, and you get in a good organization. And I'm telling you, I'm starting to sell myself on this bet. I might be as dumb as the people I told.
Nope. This is a great one. And now we'll go to the NFC for another one that you really do like. You like this one a lot. You like Atlanta for long shot. Atlanta to win the NFC. And again, these are just worth throwing a few bucks at because again, look what it can cash at 3,500. Those are nice numbers. These are none of these bets are obvious, and there's a lot of surprising shit that happens when it comes down to the NFL season. And as I've said many times, because Siciliano reminds me, 4 teams every year for the last 35 seasons, 4 teams that missed the playoffs the previous season make it in the following season. And Atlanta had a week 17 game against Washington that went to overtime, and had they won that game, they would have been a playoff team. I just want to remind everyone of that. So long shot Atlanta to win the NFC. Now, here's a hilarious one, but the Browns will have to start somebody at quarterback week 1. So now, Geno, I think this is a smart move to just hold on to what should be a common sense decision here. But Joe Flacco, week 1 starter for the Browns, makes sense. And I just want to remind everyone, I just reminded people that perhaps there would be a name that's not on here 2 weeks from now. Other teams could come and pluck this away. That could happen. But Flacco to start week 1, I'm putting it on here for the Browns. That's another bet that we want you to make.
And I'm going to say shout out to Shafticus, the guy in the chat. He's like, Colts should play. Well, we're talking long shot, so I disagree. And he says pick it, book it. But I don't know if you got here late, and I really love the point you made. If someone comes and knocking on this, and the Browns are hoping someone does, so they can give away Pickett and say, there was no doubt we were keeping Shedeur Sanders. Otherwise, they're sweating right now, going like, we got to. And people are like, look at the stuff. Look at the how good he's throwing in camp. He's 3rd string. He's playing against future bouncers and Amazon delivery men. Stop it. Stop it.
That's amazing.
Fake
All right.
credit. Fake
So
credit.
now let's go to someone. We really looked at two teams specifically in regards to over-under. And Geno admittedly is a Chargers fan. And I will say the hardest thing to do, one of the hardest things to do in the world, is to bet money when you have an emotional investment. And I've often said that I won't do this because the emotional investment takes care of me rooting for the game, right? Gambling's great because it gives you a reason to watch. And when you're emotionally invested, you don't need the extra incentive. I will say this. My dad, Raymond Betesh, a day before the Super Bowl, looked at me and he said, Sammy, I don't make bets, but I know you do. Please put $150. I want you to create an alternate line for the Super Bowl. I want you to give me the Eagles minus 7.5 against the Chiefs. I said, Dad, you're crazy, but I kind of follow your logic. If it's a close game, the Chiefs are going to find a way to win. The only way the Eagles can beat the Chiefs is if they stomp them out of the game entirely. And even though it's an emotional bet, so I didn't make it myself, but my dad did, once in a while, you can make a brilliant bet about a team that you love because you know them very well. And Geno, I just want you to remind everybody the number is 9.5. Where do we stand on the Chargers season, over or under that 9.5?
Another thing, we stand over, and I'll tell you something else I'll point out. Like, we looked at both, and it's one thing if we land on 11. Look, we were very, there was nothing I said where one of you two said, oh, my God, because we know people that are homers and stuff. We landed on 11, so that's a cushion. We landed on 11, and it's not a far reach. And again, the Chiefs are taking a step back this year, and I don't mean that I hate the Chiefs. Don't get me wrong, they annoy me. But they just are not a good team. They were exposed. And if you think they're going to come back with all this fight for something to prove, no, they proved enough. Okay.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're right about that too, right? This Chiefs team is without question a dynasty, and they don't have to do anything. I mean, none of them have to do anything the rest of their lives. None of them. Kelsey gets to bang Taylor Swift on top of it all. I mean, they don't have to do anything for the rest of their lives. Yeah. Good for all of them. All right, so one other one. They're always in the news. We love them. The Dallas Cowboys. I love every opportunity to take a shot at the Cowboys. I'm just going to get out of your way. But, 7.5, which I think, by the way, is a low. I think this number is going to move. I think there's going to be all the bullshit highlights coming out of camp that are making you believe in Pickens, making you believe in Dak. I think this number will move to 8.5, and you can see already DraftKings has it. But I think across the board, this is going to be at 8.5. Geno, where are you, over or under 7.5 wins on that schedule for the Cowboys 2025?
Talked about it, under. Prescott's been banged up so many times. It's like we talked about with Jordan Love. He's not confident. Schottenheimer's an unproven idiot. Actually, he's proven to be handed everything. Okay, and is Emmitt Smith back on the team? What are we doing? CeeDee Lamb is. CeeDee Lamb is going to be covered constantly, and Pickett is going to be a frustrated idiot. This team's a mess. I don't even know who their starting running back is. Should I?
It's Javonte. Well, I would say this much. I don't think much like the Browns. I don't think they even necessarily have a starter at this point. No, Javonte Williams is the guy who right now you would think is going to be running the ball most for them. But Javonte, as you well know, AFC West wise, you know what happened to him in Denver, Geno. Javante's an unproven guy. A lot of fantasy managers love Javonte Williams. It was a sexy pick, and it just didn't pan out the way. And again, Denver is a running back factory, but it didn't happen for him there. And rarely do you find. I mean, again, usually guys go to Denver to really have their 1,000-yard seasons, and for Javonte, it didn't really happen. He's fighting injuries. I would say it's less of a question mark. I couldn't believe the Cowboys went into 2024 with some version of Ezekiel Elliott. And Rico Dowdle. The Cowboys run the ball so well. Yeah. They've made a reputation on running the ball down the throat of all the other teams in the NFC East, and they started the season with Rico Dowdle and some memory of Ezekiel Elliott. That was so this is a little better than that, but still not great.
I think whenever I hear a statement like that, I always think Homer Simpson. It's the least I could do. Well, the least I could do is nothing, but this is close. And that's what you just said. It's a little better than that. It's not really even better than that. It's shit. It's shit.
I can't even talk myself into it. All right, boys. Brig, you can get us out of here, but we recapped everything in the comments. Please go through the comments and take those bets. If you're looking at good futures, Geno, look, first of all, Geno would actually have to only hit on one of those to make you some significant money. There's some really, I mean, look, obviously if he hits I'll say this much. If the Colts and Falcons are in the Super Bowl, then you better come back here. You better come back and kiss our ass. If the Colts and Falcons are in the Super Bowl,
dude,
you better remember the only people who said it.
I'm in Vegas.
We've got to get lawyers on this stuff before kissing ass is not going to be good enough.
You're right. You're right.
These are pearls, Bisconte. And you know what? It's just the feeling you get because I don't know about the lines, but I've watched sports so long that you just know when the rise and the fall is going to happen, and you feel the Falcons rising, you feel the Colts rising for whatever the hell the reason is. It's their time, they're due. So I'm with you. So put the money, bet the house on Bisconte. This is Brigham Avery for Sam Betesh, Geno Bisconte. Better believe it. Anything else you guys need? Is that it?
That was beautiful. We did it all. We did it all. We did it all, Brig.
Get us out of here, dog.
What's that? I love it. Sit, Ubu, sit.